You know that feeling like you're playing a game of health whack-a-mole? You finally get one frustrating issue under control, and then another one just pops up out of nowhere. It feels so random, so disconnected. But what if it's not? What if all those seemingly separate problems were actually connected by a single hidden thread? Well, today, we're going to follow that thread and see exactly where it leads.
So think about these things for a second. On the surface, they seem like they have nothing to do with each other, right? Acid reflux, that's a digestive thing. Food allergies, okay, that's your immune system. That crushing fatigue and brain fog, it just feels like your battery is completely dead. And sudden tics in a child, that's a neurological issue. They really do look like scattered pieces from 4 totally different puzzles.
But what if they're not? What if these are all just clues, pointing us down a path to a much deeper, more fundamental way of understanding how our bodies really work? That's the big question we're going to dive into. We're going to follow the trail these clues leave behind and see what we can uncover.
Okay, so our investigation is going to start in a place that might seem a little obvious these days, the gut. For centuries, the idea of its importance was really more intuition than hard science. But now, we are seeing just how profoundly this one system can influence, well, everything, from our mood to our immunity. It is the perfect place to start looking for our first major clue.
Let's start with a number, 1 in 5. What do you think that represents? It's a surprisingly common statistic, and it's tied directly to one of those symptoms we just mentioned. Any guesses? That's right. A staggering 1 in 5 people deals with GORD, that's chronic acid reflux, every single week. But here's the real insight. Just blocking the acid often completely misses the point. It's like turning off a blaring fire alarm without ever checking to see if there's a fire. The real issue is usually rooted so much deeper in our lifestyle, our stress levels, and the overall health of our entire gut system.
You know, this ancient quote is getting more and more scientific backup every single day. It's such a powerful reminder that what happens in our digestive system rarely ever stays in our digestive system. It's the foundation for everything else.
And this connects perfectly to the next piece of our puzzle, food allergies. We used to think of them as this isolated immune problem, but now we know that the gut microbiome, the trillions of tiny bacteria living inside us, acts like a training ground for our immune system. So when the gut is out of balance, the immune system can get confused and it starts to overreact to totally harmless foods. It's a perfect example of a problem in one system causing major symptoms in another.
So we followed the trail from the gut, and it's led us straight to the immune system. Now this is where our scattered puzzle pieces really start to click together. This is where we see how a single trigger can set off this huge cascade of reactions all throughout the body.
Okay, let's talk about that fourth puzzle piece, those sudden childhood tics. One potential explanation is a condition called PANDAS. It's a bit of a mouthful, Paediatric Autoimmune Neuropsychiatric Disorders associated with streptococcal infections. But put simply, it means a common infection, like strep throat, triggers an autoimmune reaction that suddenly and dramatically affects the brain.
It's this chain reaction that's just so crucial to understand. It's not the strep infection itself that's causing the tics. It's the body's own immune system getting confused. It creates these antibodies to fight the strep bug, which is great. But because of something called molecular mimicry, those same antibodies mistakenly attack a part of the brain. It's literally a case of mistaken identity on a molecular level.
And PANDAS doesn't exist in a vacuum. Not at all. It's part of a much broader pattern. When the immune system is on high alert, different triggers, whether it's an allergen, an infection, or even just chronic stress, can lead to a whole spectrum of overreactions. We're talking everything from food allergies to conditions like Mast Cell Activation Syndrome, or MCAS, all the way to the autoimmunity we see in PANDAS. It's all one system with many different ways of sounding the alarm. Okay, so we've connected the gut to the immune system. But think about it. Both of these incredibly complex systems require a massive amount of energy to work properly. So, where does that energy come from? Well, to find the answer, we have to zoom in, way in, to the tiny little engine inside every single one of our cells. We all learned about mitochondria in high school biology, right? They were the simple powerhouses of the cell, just little energy factories churning out power. Well, it turns out that view is massively outdated.
The modern view is just so much more exciting. Yes, of course, they're energy processors, but they're also our immune system's frontline sentinels, literally sensing danger. They're redox balancers, which is a fancy way of saying they manage cellular stress, kind of like a master antioxidant system. And they're key cellular communicators, sending out signals that tell our cells when to repair and when to defend. They aren't just powerhouses, they're the intelligent command centers of our cells.
And here it is. This is where we circle right back to our third puzzle piece. When your mitochondria aren't working well, your body just can't produce enough energy. And the result? That crushing fatigue, that brain fog, that general feeling of just not being able to bounce back from anything. It's not just being tired, it's a sign of dysfunction at the most fundamental cellular level.
So let's just quickly recap the clues. We started with the gut, we followed that trail to the immune system, and then we drilled all the way down to the cellular engines, the mitochondria. It's pretty clear they're not separate issues at all. They're all part of one deeply interconnected system. So now it's time to put these pieces together and draw a completely new map for health.
This slide just sums it up perfectly. The old map, it focuses only on the symptom. You have acid reflux, here's an acid blocker. The goal is just to isolate it and suppress it. But the new map, it asks why. It looks past the symptom to the entire system, the gut, the immune response, the cellular energy, to find and actually address the root cause. It's a total game changer.
So how do you support the whole system? Well, it's not about finding one magic pill. It's about creating an environment where the body can actually heal itself. Simple, foundational practices. Things like actively managing stress, aligning our sleep with natural light cycles, moving our bodies regularly, and even just connecting with nature. These are the kinds of inputs that support our mitochondrial, immune, and gut health all at the same time.
And that really brings us to our final thought. This new map doesn't just offer different treatments, it offers a fundamentally different and honestly a more empowering way to think about our own health. It suggests that by nurturing the core systems of our body, we can build this incredible foundation of resilience that makes us less vulnerable to all those scattered symptoms in the first place. It shifts the entire focus from just chasing problems to actively building health from the ground up.